Hey, everybody. Today we're talking about Facebook groups and how to grow them. I'm a big proponent of everyone having their own Facebook group. It's a great way to hold a bucket of people who are your most engaged followers so you can continue to build a relationship with them and provide lots of value. But when you're starting out with growing a group, it can be very challenging because you do have to pay attention to it and you have to devote a lot of effort to growing your group. And so that's why I wanted to do this podcast today and talk to you about how to grow your Facebook group. So stick around. You're listening to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast.
Welcome to Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast. And now your host, Meliss-Ep.252.
All right, as many of you guys know, I have my own Facebook group, magneticmarketingmastermind.com. I talk about it all the time on this podcast, and that is actually a good segue into how to grow your Facebook group. First of all, you want to have people in your Facebook group. That is obvious. That's the point of having a Facebook group in the first place, is to grow it, to gain authority, to keep people in your circle and surround yourself with people who are really interested in what you have to offer. But it does require effort. It is just like having another social media platform to take care of. So I'm a big proponent of being very active on one platform and putting all your eggs in one basket and becoming a master of that platform before you go out and find another platform to be on. So if you're on Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and Snapchat and TikTok and YouTube, it really gets overwhelming because every single platform you need to be active on if you want people to engage with you and see you as the leader in your industry. It's really hard to do that unless you have a team or unless you have all day long that you can spend on creating content. You are not a content machine. You know, I talk about that all the time. And so you really do need to be strategic with where you're going to spend your time, especially because unless you're running a marketing agency, creating content across all your platforms is not the main source of your income. Coaching and healing and your zone of genius and your passion and your gift is where you want to put your focus. But in order to be visible, you do have to be on a social media platform. So I want you to consider having a Facebook group, but do understand that it is just like taking care of a new baby that's born, and you will have to cultivate the users and continue to post highly engaging content in there, just like you were on another social media platform. All right, let's say you've decided I'm in. I want to grow a Facebook group. Now we've got to talk about how to grow it. So the first thing that you can do is promote it everywhere. So if you have a podcast, such as mine here, you heard me say, hey, join me in my group. And if you've ever watched any of my Facebook Lives, I usually end with the end saying, okay, this was great marketing tips and strategies. And if you'd like more, head on over to my free community where I give lots of tips and advice at magneticmarketingmastermind.com. And you can do the same. So at the end of your lives, or if you write a blog, you can promote your group at the end of the blog. So think about how you spend your time in getting visible and where you are. And that is where you want to promote your group. Time and time again. And you don't have to say, hey, join my group, hey, join my group, hey, join my group, but it might just be a little blurb that you throw in the middle of your lives or in the middle of your blogs if it's relevant, or at the end, and just give a one-liner. Over time, people are going to hear again and again, and they're going to go into your group. Or if they really enjoy the content that you're giving them, then it'll be like a content upgrade to go into your group. So make sure that you are actively promoting your group by just saying the words, join my group, and here's the link. I think a lot of times people are like, how do I get people to see me? Or how do I get people to know to go to this thing? Well, you've got to speak up. You've got to say it. People don't just instinctively know, oh, this person must have a group. Let's go search all over her Facebook profile and try to figure out how to get in there. Just speak up. You want people to join your group? Then tell them, hey, join my group. So number one, maybe it's obvious. Maybe you needed to hear it again. Maybe you've never even thought of it that way. Tell people. Number one answer, how do you get people in your group? Tell them. Tell them to join your group. All right, another thing that you can do once you're in your group is to offer very engaging and high value content. When you do this, you're doing two things. You are, number one, providing value, and number two, building a relationship. And if you can do this effectively, it will go a long way. People will enjoy spending time in your group. When you have a lot of engagement in your group and you have a lot of group growth, Facebook will start promoting your group for you by saying to people who are in a different group, hey, you might also like this group, and put a link to your group next to it. So make sure you're providing lots of value in your group. What this also does is the people who are in your group getting lots of value out of your group are going to start talking about it. They're going to tell their friends, hey, did you know that I'm in this group? It's an awesome group. You should join it too. So make sure that once you get people in your group, it's not just the chase. You actually want people in there for the purpose of providing value and building relationships. So it's not, let's get all the people in the group and then let's never post in the group. Let's not ever start conversations in the group. It's, let's get a lot of people in this group so I can show people what I do and give them a taste of my expertise. And that's how you'll have a very high valuable group that people will want to naturally share. Is content creation stressing you out? It takes time and intention to plan well. You might even be a great planner in other aspects of your life, but when it comes to creating your content, we both know you're not doing it. What if you could craft an entire month's or quarter's worth of content that makes a real impact in just a few hours? Introducing the Complete Content Strategy Planning Workshop Live. In this live workshop, I will walk you step by step through my straightforward creation and planning system so you can get your content locked and loaded for the next month or for the next quarter. Join me for this very special live workshop and say goodbye to frantically scrambling to throw your content together. And because I know that every business owner's needs are different, depending on where you are in your business building journey, I've created 2 options for you. Plan out your content with me for the month on January 15th. Or let's plan out your quarterly content in my 2-day workshop on January 15th and 16th. Check it out now at abundantstrategy.com/workshop. See you there. Also, if you are in other people's groups, very often they'll allow you to promote on a certain day of the week. For example, inside of my group, Magnetic Marketing Mastermind, you are allowed to promote your stuff on Thursdays. So I have a lot of people who are active in my group on a regular basis, but especially make an effort to come in on Thursday because they know there will be a thread there that they can promote their stuff. So likewise, if you're in a bunch of groups that allow for promotion, you can use that time to promote your own group and say, hey, this is what we do in my group. And if this sounds like something that interests you, click here and join. Contests. Contests are hit or miss nowadays. Sometimes they do really well, sometimes they flop. They are dead on arrival. So you can test this out and see how it works. But if you have a contest, maybe people in your group, hey, I'm giving away this thing to the people who invite the most people in, that works. Now, I have noticed that contests work really well inside of a challenge group where people are coming to a group for the purpose of achieving a goal over a short period of time. There's a lot of engagement, a lot of excitement. They want to go in and be a part of the contest and add their friends, and that works really well. But for a regular group that is an ongoing group over time that grows slowly, I don't necessarily believe that contests help, but it's worth a shot. So test it out and see if that works. You can also add your group to your email signature. I actually do this. At the bottom of my email, I say, join my free community, Magnetic Marketing Mastermind, and here's a link. You're sending your email out to everyone anyway when you write emails in your business. So you have an email signature, might as well add a link to your group at the bottom. Not everyone's going to go in, but some people who might be interested, they just might. So make sure you add it to your email signature. Likewise, I add my group to the end of every opt-in. So if you have a funnel, a sales funnel of some sort, you will have all the pages of your funnel and then your thank you page. On the thank you page, I invite people into my group. At the end of every single sales funnel that I have, whether it's a freebie that they're opting in for, or maybe it's a digital product that they're purchasing, or maybe it's an application that they're filling out, whatever digital funnel you have, the thank you page should have, here are the next steps, or here's how you can connect with me. And there you go. You put a link to your group. I put a link to my group, and I also put a link to this podcast. I say, listen to the podcast here, join the free community here. Some people will go in, some people won't, but back to my first point, if you want people to see you and be visible, you have to say it out loud. So you give them the option and they make the choice. Now, all of those options I gave you so far are free. They are organic growth strategies. If you want to put some money behind your marketing and put some ad spend budget into growing your group, there are two other things that you can do. Number one, run an ad. Actually, both of these options are based around running a Facebook ad, but the first ad is to a funnel page. So you can't run an ad into a group because Facebook ads are on Facebook's platform, and they don't allow you to run an ad that points people to another part of the platform, for example, your group. So you can run an ad to a landing page that talks about all the cool things that people are going to find in your group, or even all the bonuses that you're going to offer and the free resources that you have in your units. For example, when you come into my group, you go to the units section and you'll have access to all my free marketing resources. So if I wanted to, I could run a Facebook ad to a landing page that says, hey, you're going to get this resource and this resource and this resource and this resource. Click here. It'll take them to the landing page where I talk about all the resources in depth, and they have to opt in, give me their email address, which also helps build their list, and then takes them to the thank you page, which says, get all these resources here by joining my group. Click here, and you'll get more people into the group that way, and you'll also get more people going into your units section and actually downloading your resources, and that can spark conversation. Another type of Facebook ad that you can do is a messenger ad. And this is where people click on the ad and it takes them to Messenger, where you can then send them a link to join your group. And you do this by, again, promoting all the different types of content that you have available to them within your group. Both of these options are by spending money on Facebook. So you have to decide if you have ad spend budget for your group growth, then I would go with these two methods. If you don't, then all the other methods I said are pretty good as well. And last thing I want to say about growing your group is go buy a domain name. It costs $2 for the first year and like $12 every year after that. There's plenty of places you can buy a domain, and then you just forward it to your group. It's a whole lot easier than saying the name of your group, hoping that nobody else has that name so that it's easily searchable, or sending people to that long link that Facebook has, which is like facebook.com/groups/ a bunch of numbers / your group name / whatever. Just go get a domain. It costs close to nothing. You have that domain name and then you forward it over. So when I say join my group at magneticmarketingmastermind.com, people will type that into the chat because it's easy to remember, or into the URL rather, and then it just takes them over to my group. So it's easy to do, it's very low cost effective, and because it's easy to remember, it's easier for people to get into the group. So I hope all of these strategies help you grow your group over time. The best thing to remember is that, like anything in marketing, it is a process and you need to play for the long game. So you've got to be consistent. You've got to show up. You've got to be the leader in your industry and post really valuable content consistently, start conversations, get people excited to be there. And over time, your group will grow. I hope this helps, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Marketing Tips with Meliss podcast at www.marketingtipswithmeliss.com.
Hey coaches and healers, it's time to feel supported in your business. Head on over to our free community to get access to my best resources for free. I'm talking marketing tips, business strategy, feedback, and so much more. Join now at magneticmarketingmastermind.com. See you there.